Good afternoon and welcome to Chapter 17, Depreciation. This is a relatively short chapter, but it's got some pretty important concepts, especially if you're getting into the business world and looking for ways to do some tax savings. Again, you need to know the terms. You will be tested on that. But what is depreciation? Well, it's the means of recognizing that an asset is actually depreciating. And there's two different ways that happens. It can be physical. A building gets old and it starts to wear down, or machinery gets old and after the use it wears down, or the fact that the product could become obsolete, especially in today's technology world, how things keep on improving. So you could buy a computer and within 4 years it could be obsolete and you might need to get a new one. So you want to be able to depreciate that. Some of the terms that we will cover are accumulated depreciation, which is the amount of assets that depreciates up to that date that you're looking at it. You got your book value, which is also your residual value. So you might have a car and at the end of its life it still could be worth something because the material still has value. So the book value and your residual value is important to know. There are three methods. There's straight line, there's the unit product, and then there's the double declining. So, but to understand first straight line, it's kind of what's used in the industry. It's the main, when you look at depreciation or businesses using depreciation, straight line is the main one used. And how it's found is depreciation expense is the cost of whatever the equipment is minus the residual value divided by the life. So it's fairly simple, and we can do a straight line depreciation. So if we bought something for $20,000, and its residual value is $2,000, and the life is 3 years, what is the annual depreciation expense? Well, we plug it into the formula. 20,000 minus 2,000 is $18,000 divided by 3 years. So it gives us $6,000 a year as our depreciation expense. Now what happens, as the book says, is if that machinery was bought midway through the month, are there partial years? Is there a way to calculate that? So we notice that if it's the 15th of the month or later, then it doesn't count for that month. But if it's before it, it does. So when we look at practice problem 17-1A, number 2, we see that they bought it in February and actually on the 6th. So that month does count. So how would we calculate that year's expense? Well, they now have 11 of the 12 months. And we can multiply that by the 6,000 a year. So 11/12 times 6,000. And I get my calculator out. And I left it over here. So 6,000. I could divide by 12. Get that to be 500 and times it by 11. So it could be, and it is, 5,500. So sometimes we need calculators, not always. The next part is, what if we produce a lot of units or widgets? What happens if a machine is known to make X amount of units instead of a lifetime? Because you could produce a lot of units, you could produce, it's very variable. So they have the unit production method. So we're going to do actually Learning Unit 17-2A. And we'll kind of walk through it together to figure out by the units. So it says that our cost is $30,000. It produces 56,000 units, and it has a replacement or residual value of $2,000. Now if I plug this into our formula, so 30,000 minus 2,000 divided by 56,000 is 28 divided by 56, that's actually 0.5. So it's 50 cents a unit is what the machinery depreciates at. So we have the cost of machinery. It's constant all the way down. The units change per year, so the depreciation expense should have changed. So 1,000 units times 50 cents, $500. So the total accumulated depreciated, $500. Book value is now subtracted, so we got $29,500. Year 2, do it again. 6,000 is actually $3,000. Accumulated now is 3,500 because I add my 500 to my 3,000. Subtract $3,000, I get 26,500. Do it again for year 3. So we got 2,000, 5, 5, 24,500, 1,000, 6,500. So 23,500. And what happens here? Well, this is actually 1,250. So this is 7,750. Subtract that, so 22,250. So our book value after 5 years of the machinery is actually $22,250. Now the third way to do it is the fastest way to do depreciation. It basically it's very depreciative heavy at the very beginning, and then it slows back. So we're going to figure out how to do this by doing practice problem 17-3A. It's on page 419. It says the machinery bought is $31,000. They do a depreciation rate of 40%. And it says residual value is $1,000, life of 5 years. And it says calculate the first 3 years. How would we do this? So our beginning book value, what would that be? Would that not be the $31,000 that it is? So what's our depreciation? Well, let's calculate that. So 40%, 0.4 times 31,000 is $12,400. So what's accumulated? Just that, 12,400. So our book value, we subtract that from 31,000, gets $18,600. So that's now our beginning book balance, and our end is now our new beginning. So 12,4, 18,6 times 0.4, 7,440. We add that together, 19,840. We subtract that from 31,000 to get our ending book balance. So at the end of year 2, this piece of equipment has a book value of $11,160. So if it sold it, that's what they could get as book value. It told us to do 3 years, so let's bring that on down. So our accumulated is 19,840. Our book value is 11,160 times 40%, 4,464. Then we add that to the 19,840. So we have 24,000, excuse me, 304. Subtract that from 31,000. We've got an ending book value of $6,696. So you can continue on, but for this example, they have to stop at number 3. The last one is the macros, the MACRS, how the tax was done previously, depending on the type of unit is. And so that's why I want to have you look at table 17.4 and 17.5. It'll make a lot more sense. But just to give you a quick example, let's do the extra practice problem. And it said that in 1991, Rancho Corp had semiconductors that cost $90,000. So I'm going to have to look at the first table, 17.4, and I see that semiconductors are actually 5 years. So then I turn to 17.5, I look up 5 years, and I see what would it be in year 3? Well, I look down, and it's the factor is 1.1920, 0.1920 times $90,000. So the depreciation for this year would be 19,000 or 17,000. Sorry, I'm having issues with my numbers. 17,280. So a wastewater treatment plant, when I look on the first page, it's 15 years. So then when I turn to the table 17.5, I see my depreciation rate is 0.05 Thus, $45,000 would be depreciated. So, it's Chapter 17 in a nutshell. If you have any questions, feel free to email. Thanks. Bye.